It is the next morning, and if you guys can see here, it looks like we are set almost perfectly on the temperature that we need for casting. So it's time to get our foundry set up and get ready to pour a little bit of bronze. Our foundry is an old Johnson Forge foundry. This is probably from the 70s or the 80s. Still works pretty good, but we've had to do a lot of modifications to it. So for the foundry body itself, you've got this handle here that you can actually actuate. It swings out of the way very easily, and you can see we have a crucible in here with some leftover pieces of bronze from some of our other pours. But the real interesting thing is right over here, and this is our burner system. Now originally there was a big box with an 11,000 RPM blower in here. It had all your mixers and all that kind of good stuff. Well, she finally gave up the goat, and wouldn't you know it, bouncy castle blower to the rescue. You really have to force a lot of high pressure air into here. We have a mixing chamber. I have a needle valve here for where the gas comes in. And this is essentially just a blacksmith's gas forge. So it does a really good job. So all we're going to need to do is actually hook this bad boy up to a gas source and fire it up, and we're good to go. Now while we're waiting for the big reveal, I gotta tell you, that pour went really, really well. I have been so happy with the last 7 or 8 pours that we've done. That particular vacuum chamber that we used is pretty freaking awesome. So again, while we're waiting for this to cool, I wanna show you guys a little bit about what we built to make this guy happen. So this table I actually bought from Mr. Clyde Payton, who's down in Florida. If you are a member of the Florida Blacksmith Association, you know who Clyde Payton is. He's a bit of a legend down there. He was selling some stuff out of his shop, and I got this table. This table was originally used to hold his Pexto plate and different steaks. This ended up being a perfect piece for making our vacuum caster. So if you look here, we've got a hole that's cut through this 1/2-inch plate, and under the bottom, we have actually welded the bottom end of a oxygen tank. So it fit the flask almost perfectly. We had just enough space around the outside of it, and you can see we have a little bit of piping down in here where our vacuum pump. What did you say? What? Did you say meow? Because I said meow. Yeah, it's hot stuff. So anyway, we have our vacuum pump hooked in so it can be very easily taken on or off. But you notice I actually have 2 different ways where this vacuum is going. So when we were originally designing this, I was looking to be able to do very much like I described earlier. When you take your flask out, that you put your flask on the table, there's actually a hole drilled through right here. Flask goes down, big bell jar goes over it, and you actually vacuum the flask. Well, again, it just didn't work out that way yet. So this is just not used at this point. But this guy right here is what does the trick. So you saw when that flask went down in there, you have a free moving gasket here, which this is actually a graphite O-ring. Goes down, it seals, and the vacuum that it pulls is so tough. The way that I know that it's got the seal is that I take my tongs and I actually move it a little bit, and when I can't move it, we've got a good seal. Metal goes in, pulls it all through everything, and there you go. So again, an example of some mocked up stuff, but it does a fantastic job. The keys that we've done have been wonderful, so it's a real good deal. Most of your industrial casting machines that can take a flask of this size start about $20,000, at least the ones that I've seen. Don't quote me on that, but they're pricey. So this was a tremendous, tremendous tool to add to the shop at a less than tremendous price. And now it's time for my favorite part. Okay, so let's grab our flask. If you guys can see, the button has now cooled, and into the water we go. What this does is it blasts the plaster away from the metal. You actually see little pieces of plaster skating on the surface of the water. But if you get it done at the right heat, boy, it just does a great job. And we're going to hold this guy in there until it quits bouncing and bubbling, which should be right there. And look at there, folks. Hot dog almighty. Hot dog almighty, they look good. Man, would you look at that. There is our super cool tree. And they look like they came out good. I see a couple of air bubbles here and there. They shouldn't be a terrible problem though. Got a little bit of something going on there. But by and large, these look tremendous. I am very, very stoked with these. How about that? All right, so all we got to do now is we'll come back in and we'll actually cut these away from the tree, and we're going to get one of these cleaned up and see exactly what they look like. Super awesome, man. Hot almighty knows. Well, guys, I do not think that you could ask for much better than this right here. Look how beautiful that is. Come on, camera, do your job. Wow. And let me grab the original so you can see these guys side by side. Take my gloves off. Damn, that camera's high. I gotta jump to get to it. Yep, there we go. Come on. Why aren't you focusing? You suck. Instant autofocus my butt. Hang on. Camera's not cooperating. Let's put these on the table. Now guys, I do not think that you can ask for a better casting than that. Now you do notice that it is considerably smaller than the original. Again, that's the shrink that's going to be in the pattern. I mean, it's considerable, but look at that. How awesome is that? Now if you look real close, you can still see some of those little fine bubbles. One of the things that I did not do on this is there's a vacuum film. There's a film that you actually put on this to take a few of those out. But you know, I'm good with that. But hang on, let me get this guy's butt off the other guy's head. There you go. But it still looks really super awesome, and I am very stoked with it. So I would consider that to be a terribly successful cast. So in the course of the work that I've done over the years, I've kind of been following in Jay's footsteps. There's a lot of things that he did that I followed behind him, and may have done a little bit better with a little bit of time and patience. And that's one thing that Jay always told me. Jay got started very late in life, and he always said that I would exceed him. And you know, I don't even like to use that term, because Jay was an incredible man. He was a legend. But I will tell you, to be able to come back and to start doing a little bit of the casting that I used to see what he did, and then to come out and copy it and do something just a little bit different, it's pretty freaking awesome. So guys, again, there we are. How super cool is that? I am very, very happy with this, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video series. So I'm certain there's going to be some more stuff we're going to end up doing. We're going to have some more casts. We're going to do some stuff that's a little different, because whereas we've used rubber molds in this one, very soon we're going to be moving on to silicone molds, so we can do some larger, maybe a little bit more complex shapes, and it's going to be super awesome. What else are we going to do? It's an apocalypse. So it's the apocalypse, so we're going to cast some brass, and then we're going to bring all this together into a single project. So it's going to be super freaking cool. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like and subscribe button. Check us out on Patreon. Outside of that, you guys have a wonderful, blessed day, and stay safe out there. See you guys.